Lawn Chair Digger here. We have a cone top can here that was found metal detecting 2 or 3 hunts before the last hunt. There was snow on the ground. This was kicked up when I was hunting with Detect Ed. Picked it up and figured it'd be a good candidate for the Citric, so I can show you guys what it'll do to this can. As you can see, I gotta wash the dirt off at first, but it's pretty unlegible, but solid. We'll see what we can do. Okay guys, just gonna rinse this off, especially the inside. You should get all the dirt out of it so that the Citric works a lot more effective. You don't have any kind of dirt or any kind of plants that grows on the bottle. You want to kind of scrub it off. Just use a toothbrush and scrub it down. So you got it kind of brushed off. One thing I want to add is do not use soap. Do not put any kind of soap on this when you rinse it off if you're going to use a Citric, because that kind of defeats the Citric, and it will not work if you put soap all over this. Just water, cold, lukewarm. I usually do a lot more cans at once, but this is what I got for now to do. Okay guys, so cleaning with Citric, you can buy this kind, citric acid, at Walmart or some better hardware stores, and it tells you per pint, per quart. And this is what you can get like online. Citric acid, you get a little cheaper. Stuff's not that cheap. It's like probably $3-4 for this. Maybe the same for this, maybe a little more, but you get a little bit more. If you don't want to go to the store, you just want to order it. So I'm going to do the standard, even though I only have one, it's overkill, but I mix up, so I take 1 gallon of lukewarm, warm side of things water. Not hot, not cold, but like warm, little, warmer than lukewarm. That works best with the Citric. It gets it energized a little more. Okay. This is my container because I don't have any smaller containers right now. It's like a 5-gallon container. I usually do like 10 at a time for the cans, but I have one to do. Just this one. Like I said, just make sure you rinse it off, brush it off, rinse the inside really good. In the summer it's great because you can use a hose. Just don't put any soap, don't soap wash it. So you can lay that right, actually no, we'll put this right here for now. I'm going to dump the water in to this container. 1 gallon exactly, so it's good to have a gallon jug around, or I've seen people put one like in a mason jar. I was going to try that, but this is what I normally do, so I'm going to keep doing what I normally do for the video purposes. So I've got a quarter cup for a gallon, per gallon. And that's how I mix. If I was going to put like 8 or 10 cans in this, I would probably make at least 3 gallons worth. In each gallon I would dump this in, spread it around, and spread this all around. It's not going to hurt you, unless you got, it's basically dehydrated lemon. It's biodegradable. They use it for canning tomatoes and such. You can use your hand even, as long as you don't have any open cuts, because it'll sting. So it is an acid. It's a citric, lemon type acid. So you get that all mixed up nice. Now you take your lovely can and you get it submerged. Now, of course, I don't have enough in here to cover the can. So what do you do then? Well, you got to add more water. So let's add some more water here. Kind of lukewarm. We'll see how much water it's going to take. It's always better when you're mixing the citric. If you had to add more water, or let's put it this way, the less the better of the citric. Sometimes you got to let it wait a little longer when it sits, but it will actually, the weaker it is, sometimes the better it works, as opposed to too much. All right, so the can's in there. Just going to dump this in. How much is that? Another gallon? I guess we're going to put 2 gallons in there. So I'm going to put a little more citric in, but not a lot, because we just got 1 can in there. So just because we only have 1, if it was a bunch of cans, I would go with a full dose, probably, or a little less than another full dose. So here, I'll dump a little more of that out. Whoops. Alright, so you can see maybe about a half. So that would be like an eighth of a second. An eighth of a cup for this, just because we have 1 can. If you had multiple cans in there and they're really rusty, then use the quarter cup per gallon rule. But if you're just topping off some water on the top to cover it, I wouldn't use any more. So if you just needed like a half gallon of water to cover the top of it, you want the whole thing submerged. So get it submerged and settled. And I let this sit. I might check it in 12 hours to see where it's at. Brush it off a little bit with my hand. And sometimes I'll go 24, depending on. So we'll just see what happens. See how it's doing here. Looks like the water's getting pretty dark. Hey guys, just show you how the water looks when you're doing a can on the citric. The water starts turning rust colored. Now I did take this out and brush it with a toothbrush and rinse it with cold water. I'm gonna wait. The other side's pretty wasted, but this side is, I want to keep a little longer. It's been, 14 hours in here. I'm gonna give it some more time and see if that side comes out, but it's definitely a Kruger can, which I kind of knew, but I just want to see if I can save it. At least get one good side off it. One thing to note, I use the sink. You be careful with the white sink and the white floor because it will stain rust colored on anything white. It'll wash off, but make sure you do that before your wife or husband comes back, because it will stain and make a mess later. Okay, I usually use a different container, but this is what I got right now. I take some of this Arm & Hammer baking soda, I think baking powder would be okay too. Put a little bit of that. Yeah, if you're just doing one, it's not much, but usually get a big bowl and soak them 2 or 3 at a time. But because I have a bunch in the shed I can clean still, but I don't feel like doing that. So now, there's really no science to this, but you're just making a neutralizer to stop the acid from eating more of the can after we're done. We'll just kind of mix it up with my hand. It's not going to hurt you. Neutralizer. Shut that off. Take side can. Now normally I would brush it off in there. I don't let them sit too long because usually I'm doing a bunch at a time. But just submerge it for a few. I'm going to hold it down and get the water in. We'll let that sit a bit and then dry, and then you let it dry, and then you can use some WD-40 on it to inhibit the rusting again, because it will rust again if it's not coated with some kind of oil. Okay guys, this is the finished product. It didn't come out as well as I wanted to. My WD-40 did after I kind of soaked it in the baking soda and the water. WD-40 did. I was able to identify it. It is a Kruger, but it just wasn't. I mean, the bottom came out good. The top was okay, but there just wasn't enough left on this one. This is what the finished product you want. This is one I did last year. Okay, so that's how I was able to identify it, because I dug them before. But see how this one had a lot more life left into it because it was in the ground, and this other one was pretty much surface fine, so it got exposed a lot to the sun. But this is what you kind of want it to look like. That was done with Citric last year. I collect the cone tops, so I have several of these. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of how to do it, because you can find something, you may get it to look as good as this one, which is, they call these a dumper cans for beer, but you can do soda as well as flat top cans. Depending on the dug condition, this was covered pretty good, but it came out, it had a little more life left into it than this one, even though this one is actually very solid. You can see where I got through the paint, you could see the steel. So it came out as good as it was going to, but anyways, just to give you an idea. We'll do more on this at some point, but thank you and happy hunting. Okay, we got some more. I wanted to try these for some cleaning. I got this just for that reason. This Dr. Jane's full of rust and stuff. We're going to try to clean that with hopefully we've got some CLR. This is a Harris Farm Dairy registered, Providence, Rhode Island. Got some rust and some dirt. Just want to show how well some of the different cleaning methods work. I got this recently. You can tell inside, if you look at it, this W.M. Earl from New Jersey, pretty sick inside. I'm gonna try, here's some ammonia for this guy. Yeah, ammonia, CLR for these, and see how that goes. Okay guys, so for these two nasty, rusty bottles, the Rhode Island milk and the Dr. Jane's, we're going to use the CLR, try to get the rust out. So I've got warm, not hot, but warm, very warm water here. And hopefully pour some of the CLR in. This stuff's not real cheap. It's probably like $5 or $6 for that, but it lasts quite a while. And just kind of want to stir it up a little bit. Again, if you have a cut or something on your hand, you don't want to be sticking it in here. It'll zap you. And we'll put in, see how rusty that is, Dr. Jane's. And you can put a lot more bottles in here. I just got 2 for now. Make sure it sucks up all the water. And like I said, you're going to have the dirt and everything washed off, but this is extra stuff. And we'll let that soak. The longer the better. Sometimes a few days, depending on how bad it is, sometimes a week or 2. I'll let you know. Okay. This bottle, you see it's quite sick inside, or fogged up with something in there. I'm going to fill this up with ammonia and let that sit for a while, a number of days or week, whatever it takes. One thing I'm going to tell you is you never ever mix this with bleach or ammonia, or you're going to have a nastiest smell and counteraction you've ever seen. So let's again, this is stuff you can buy at the dollar store. This stuff's cheap. Ammonia, Dollar General. Okay, I had to get a bigger bowl. I just decided to submerge it. I used the whole container of ammonia and mixed it with some really warm water, not hot but really warm, and filled the bottle and submerged it. So we'll let that sit for a while. Again, the longer you let it sit, the better it will be. Days, weeks. But we'll check everything out when it's all finished. Hey guys, the CLR with the bottles has been sitting for 2 nights, 2.5 days. Same thing with the ammonia on this bottle. I might just take them out and see if we can clean them up, because I usually like to let them sit for a week, but I don't think my wife's gonna like it too much. I'm taking over one of the bathrooms here pretty much. Last but not least, we have this bottle. It's been soaking in ammonia. We'll clean the inside of that out with a bottle brush and see what that looks like after soaking in ammonia for a couple days. And again, this is the WM H. Earl New Jersey blob top. Nice and clean. You get a little bit of sickness still in it. It's not going to take it all out, but for a buck, for a bottle of ammonia, it actually does help a lot with the sickness too at some levels, and for sure sparkly clean. There you have it, ammonia and CLR. Do not mix them, but it shows you what they can do. You see a little persistence. You can get them pretty clean again. I'm gonna have to take maybe a little bit of steel wool or soak it a little longer. There's still some residual on the front, which I don't like, but if you saw it in the beginning, it's a heck of a lot better right now than it ever was. But we'll clean the rest of that off. Okay, and we have the Dr. Jane's alternative, which was rust and sick and everything else. This was just soaked in the CLR. A little bit of elbow grease. You know, once in a while I have to use a little spot. I might have to use steel wool, but there's a couple of spots inside there I'm not going to worry about. But it just makes the bottle very more desirable, pretty, and what it should look like.